Ventures, Patrick Spencer.
Thank you, Dr. Huck. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and can I also join the throng of people who are paying tribute to my honourable friend, the member for Gordon and Buchan, for delivering this very important debate. I, like many people, am motivated to engage in this debate because I represent a rural constituency made up of many small and large farm holdings. Suffolk, without making this sound like my maiden speech, is a beautiful rural constituency with a stunning landscape, but is known for its contribution not just to our food system, but also home to many market towns where you'll find family-owned butchers and bakers and grocers who source their produce from local farms. Even breweries. Adnams is actually in the next-door constituency, but it also sources all of its ingredients for its famous beers and its famous products from farms in the local area. 1 in 7 jobs in Suffolk have some relationship to the food production industry. You only have to go to the Suffolk Show to see the importance of farms, farming and agriculture to our local economy. As a result, we have to take seriously the livelihood and financial sustainability of our farms. And it's worth remembering, actually, that farms are, as many people have said before here today, small businesses with very tight margins and high capital costs. One way we could highly threaten the long-term financial sustainability of those farms that are so integral to our economy and our community is to threaten the owners with a tax if they were to pass the family farm down to the next generation. Now, let me explain why I think this is a bad idea. Like taxing a lot of forms of capital, you are demanding liquidity from a resource that is fundamentally illiquid. The government will, as we've heard before, but let me reiterate it, the government will fundamentally force many farms to sell off parcels of land. When those farm owners realise it's hard to sell off small parcels of land, they'll in fact be forced to fire sale their whole holding. Don't believe me, 86% of respondents to a poll of farmers conducted by the Country Land and Business Association said that they would have to sell some or all of their land if they were faced with a new IHT obligation. The second reason this is a bad idea, for those that are able to shoulder the cost of a new tax on their farm and on their business, they will simply have to reallocate a lot of their capital away from the more productive sources of investment, such as capital machinery and labour, both with grossly negative economic and social consequences. My next-door neighbour is a relatively well-heeled farmer who also uses his land to provide a wedding venue and rental properties that we've already heard about. Now, if you place them under more financial stress, they will simply have to close down those businesses. And let's not forget that many of those businesses provide really important jobs, really important incomes, and fundamentally pay tax in our economy. So we're taxing one half of the equation only to take away from the other. And then the third reason that I think this is a terrible idea is that fundamentally the repeal of the agricultural relief and business relief for farms will yield a relatively irrelevant amount of money in the long run. We've all read the IFS report that says that agricultural relief costs the Exchequer £400 million a year. Now, I know many people, both in the Treasury and bluntly on the other side of the House, will see many landowners as rich rent seekers who invest in property to avoid IHT. But let's look at the contribution people like James Dyson have made to our food production industry. Look at the impact he's made incorporating technology and environmental standards to the sector, or the incredible impact to the Grosvenor Group on restoring peatland and moorlands in parts of Cheshire and Lancashire, which will have a hugely positive impact on the wildlife numbers there, as well as carbon emissions. And if the Treasury genuinely believe that by taxing farmers in the hope that it will, they will release land available to housing developers and property developers, trust me, you are not going to solve the housing crisis building houses on farmland in Suffolk. The reality is the housing crisis will be solved by investing in units in towns and cities where young people really want to live, where footfall already exists. And irrespective of looking at all the positive impact that many people in farming have had, this argument completely negates the thousands of small families who are not rich, who may have to maybe forced to sell their farm despite having tended to the land for generations. The imposition of a new tax on inherited land will have a sad impact on the family-owned farms, like many owned in my constituency, that are too many to name, who I know have spoken in recent years of the increasing difficulty of running their farms as a result of the current economic climate. They've had to meander a labyrinth of new environmental regulations, a new post-Brexit payment system, an energy crisis that's pushed their costs through the roof, higher interest rates, increasing competition from abroad. To remove agricultural relief and business relief from some of these small family-owned farms could push many over the edge. And what a loss that would be. What a loss that would be to our economy, to our communities, and to the many families who have owned, farmed and maintained their land for generations and will continue to for generations to come. Thank you very much.